All right, we're live. Let's see if anyone actually shows up. It's time for another Q&A. Well, we got a viewer. You're the first. I haven't done one of these in probably a month at this point. Probably at least a couple weeks. What's up, Untouchable Raider? What's up, Jesus? What's up, guys? These are the regulars here. People, you guys are always the first. Mark Hanna, what's up? Perriman, Waller, Nassib are all out. Dang, that's unfortunate. I kind of guessed that Waller would, but Perriman has been really good. Nassib, I haven't heard much about him. What's up, Renfro fan? All the regulars coming in. I like it. You guys are always here early. Yeah, Perriman is a Pro Bowler. You know, I did my Pro Bowl ballot, and he's up there, linebacker. I don't think the A's will re-sign Olsen and Chapman. I think they're on the last year. I think they're entering the last year of their contract. I could be wrong. I'd probably agree with you because they're going to get. I don't know about Chapman. I think Olsen will definitely get some sort of high contract elsewhere. I expect to be blown out tomorrow. Yeah, I lost all hope for the Raiders this season. I don't expect them to make the playoffs or even get real close to the playoffs at this point because they're terrible. I mean, the Raiders are just. It all starts with the quarterback, honestly. And I think Carr has a lot of talent, but I don't think he's the right fit. And I've learned that this year, especially. Yeah, I'll be the Mark Canna. I totally agree with you. I'll be surprised if the Raiders win. I mean, I think every week, the Raiders have a chance, but they never capitalize. They're terrible when it comes to playing teams that are above 500 or even teams that aren't very good. Yeah, I did. I saw that Penguin jersey. It was pretty cool. I think that's the one that was pretty iconic. The word mark. Yeah, the Raiders. Yeah, the Vikings of the AFC. Sometimes they're. Yeah, I mean, difference is the Vikings make the playoffs. The Raiders don't. It's like people compare the Raiders to other teams, and it's never that bad because we have the longest playoff drought. Start Mariota. I mean, maybe at this point. I don't know. Thing is, I don't know if Carr is bench worthy at this point. I don't know if we're worthy of benching him. I don't think he's that bad, but I also don't think he's gonna take us to the playoffs. At least you have the Warriors right now. Exactly. That's the only thing I look forward to. The Sharks are an up and coming team. The Sharks have a lot of good youth, but they're not very good. The Raiders are just depressing, and the A's are depressing. Warriors are my saving grace. The Warriors are fun to watch. The Warriors are a great team. At least you still have the war. Yeah, I already read that. Yep. Canna got overpaid. Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I wasn't. I know there's a lot of Mark Canna fans around here. I wasn't entirely upset when Mark Canna got traded. I kind of knew it was going to happen. He didn't have a very good season for the most part, and he hasn't really been that good of a player in a long time. That being said, he was a fan favorite. I like the guy. He was a good guy, but I wasn't grieving over it. I was more sad about Marte. You can still trade Carr. Yeah, I mean, they could. I don't know if they're going to do that. I think trading for a draft pick is better because I like Mariota, but he's been playing the same time as Carr, the same amount of time pretty much. I think he's played 1 year less. I think if you're the Raiders, you got to build your team around Hunter Renfro, Darren Waller, and then Ngakoue and Crosby. That's the only 4 guys I want to keep the team around, and then everyone else you just tear it all down. The offensive line is terrible. The secondary is okay. I don't really like most of the guys on it, but I think Casey Hayward's really good. Who else? Nate Hobbs is good. So I think like there are defensive pieces, but I think they need to tear it all down pretty soon. I mean, if it's been too long with this process, the new coach we bring in, yeah, I agree. I just think Rich Bisaccia is not a good coach. He doesn't have the experience. Clearly, he makes a lot of bad calls. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought we'd lose to Washington by a lot more because we were playing terrible the whole game. I mean, I wanted to turn. I was like raging. I was like, "This is a horrible game." Um, yeah, Carr. I mean, the thing with Carr is like he's a fan favorite because he he's a nice guy. He speaks well. He's like you can tell he loves being on the Raiders, but the fans I don't know if have that mutual respect for him because he's not the guy to win a Super Bowl. He's not the guy to go to the playoffs. He hasn't been the same ever since 2016 with that injury, and I mean that injury that sucks for him, but he's just never adapted to the new environment. Um, yeah, on top, I'm just frustrated with the team. In the football picks, I chose Washington. Yeah, yeah, I would have regretted that too. A's stadium situation. Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I haven't talked about that like publicly in, geez, it's probably been over a month, maybe 2 months. And that's because there's a lot of stagnant stuff going. Like nothing's really happening. It's like that the public and I know. In terms of what's going on behind the scenes, I'm guessing that there are a lot of negotiations happening in Oakland. I know the Oakland mayor, Libby Schaaf, she's basically publicly stated that basically what I just said, like there's negotiations going on. Um, that being said, she said the same thing about the Raiders, but I think the A's plan is like a lot more legit. So I think it's looking good right now. Las Vegas media is a lot bigger than Oakland, so you're going to see like a lot of um, I've propaganda for it. So you can't put any expectations on Versace. Exactly, but you know, I actually did have expectations because he started out like 2-0, albeit he played two bad teams. It was he played the Broncos and whoever was after the Broncos. Um, so yeah, he started out all right, but I just don't understand. Yeah, Raiders need to sign a veteran coach. Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like the new wave of coaches in the NFL are young guys. Like it used to be like the coach would be like 65 years old, 70 years old. Now it's like Cliff Kingsbury, he's probably in his 30s or 40s, right? Sean McVay, he's in his 30s. And these are great coaches, right? Kyle Shanahan, okay, he's not the best coach. He's in his 40s. Um there's got to be more out there I'm missing, but I think young coaches are actually the ones that are kind of changing the game a little bit. Matt LaFleur, there's a lot of good coaches that are young. Um, let's see. A good thing about the Raiders this year is I don't expect them to give up a touchdown. Yeah, I agree. I'm never going to be content with the Raiders until they make the playoffs. Like I don't care if they win. I don't care if they beat the Chiefs tonight. If they don't make the playoffs, I don't really care at all. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah. If the A's move to Vegas, I'm going to be scared because I feel like what happened to Henry Ruggs will happen to an athletics player. Maybe. I don't know. I think definitely if the Raiders were in Oakland, I don't think the Henry Ruggs thing would have happened because I've read a lot about how players in Las Vegas, I mean, look, the Raiders are known to sign a lot of criminals, but, in Las Vegas, it's like you're around a lot of bad things. So I think that definitely probably influenced Henry Ruggs. Um, there are a lot of guys we could get. Yep, there definitely are. Olsen will either go to the Padres or Yankees. I hope not. I mean, at this point, I don't have any loyalty. Well, I do have loyalty to A's players, but I don't expect the A's players to have any loyalty to the team. So I don't bother really buying jerseys of A's players anymore like I used to because what's the point? They're going to leave. And it's not like, the most an A's player stays on the A's for is usually 5 years or 6, like Marcus Simeon, Canna. They had a pretty long stint. Um, so, yeah. All I want is a playoff appearance, too. Yep. That we all want it. I don't understand why they can't do it. It's like we're cursed. Um, I know you're a Warriors fan, but thoughts on the Bucks? They're a good team. They're definitely a good team. I'm excited for when the Warriors play them. I think for one, like the Bucks are coming off a championship. So, they have a lot of momentum, but I also think the Warriors are a really good team. So I think that, the Bucks are probably like my favorite coming out of the East to win the East. But yeah, they're definitely a good team. I know Giannis is going crazy this year as an MVP candidate behind KD and Curry, so that's pretty good. Can't have any loyalty when your owner won't spend money. Yep, exactly. Tell me about it. It's become too familiar with A's fans, and it's like there's nothing we can do. I mean, I'm kind of happy there's a lockout right now because, for one, we don't have to hear about all these A's players leaving because I bet there'd be more. There'd probably be more. And for two, I'm praying that like there's a salary for something that has to do with the payroll implemented, because there's a lot of financial problems. If you guys don't know, the MLB is having a lot of financial problems with players because it's kind of corrupt the way that it is. If you don't know about that, go watch my video on the lockout. I talked about it in more detail. Yankee fans assuming Olsen is already on their team. Yeah, probably. I've seen rumors about that. Simeon overpaid. I don't know. I think Simeon. Well, for one, the Rangers have a crap ton of cash. They're somehow a really rich team. They just got Seager and Simeon, and I I don't know. I think Simeon deserves it. I'm sorry, I disagree. I think Simeon deserves it. Thoughts on the Hawks? They're a good team. They were kind of underdogs last year in the playoffs, right? They made it far. Warriors beat them this year pretty easily. Actually, no, the Warriors were down in that game by a lot. They came back. But when they beat them, the final score was a big margin. But I know they're a good team. I know Trae Young is a really good player. We'll see what happens with the East. I think they'll make the playoffs. Jokic should be the front runner for MVP. Yeah, I don't know. I think Curry's better, but Jokic is good for sure. Let's be honest, A's players who leave are overpaid. I think it seems that way. I think it only seems that way because they get paid so little on the A's. When they actually sign a decent contract, it looks like it's bigger than it actually is. Like it blows it out of proportion because like who's the highest A's like paid player right now? Can someone like find that out? I feel like it's probably like old Manaya or something for like 5 mil or 10 mil. I don't know. I feel like their biggest contract. No, actually, I think Trevor Rosenthal might be one of the highest paid A's players. Um, for whatever reason, I think like the average A's salary is probably um like 10 million or less. Um, the Hawks started slow. Yeah, I heard about that. Do you think Gloriana gets traded? Mm, who's gonna want him? That's the thing. Like he's such a hothead for one. He used steroids. I don't know. Like I feel like the A's are like kind of like the team that takes chances on controversial guys like that. But I don't know. I think he could get traded like at the deadline. I mean, I assume he's going to be suspended for a little bit longer. Look at Lindor. Yeah, but like the Mets are just unlucky with signings usually. I mean, Lindor, Baez, like they didn't fold out. A lot of people were saying the Mets could be a World Series contender last year, and they didn't even make the playoffs with the talent they acquired. Um, Raiders need to sign Bill Belichick. That'll never happen, but I kind of he Belichick's a good coach, but he's just like such a negative guy, kind of like Brett Laurie. Oh yeah, don't even get me started on Brett Laurie. He was such a hothead. Like he would argue with the own team. Like he would yell at the teammates. He was terrible. Brett Laurie was like one of my most hated A's players because he did nothing for the value that he was perceived as when he was a Toronto Blue Jay. Um, yeah, that's true. They do milk it once they get paid. But I just think the A's they don't care about contracts. It's like the only way the A's are good is if they make trades or they produce a player from the minor leagues like Olsen or Chapman, or obviously, like I said, trades like they get Marte or they get Josh Harrison or Jan Gomes or Andrew Chafin, and like half those guys I just said are gone. So yeah, I think the three acquisitions before the A's made up the deadline, like uh, Chafin and Marte and Harrison and Gomes. Those were some great players. And now it's like, yeah. Give a final score prediction for the Warriors 76ers. Oh, okay. How many threes will Steph make? Well, okay. I saw this interview with Steph. He said he's not like gonna be crazy and try to get the record to like he's not gonna make that his only goal. I think final score, I think the Warriors are gonna win by like 15 points. I'm gonna say 121-106. Curry makes 6 threes. He makes 6. He's gonna be 4 away from the record. Can we play a Kahoot? I didn't make one, but I could find one. You got to give me a little bit though, because I didn't plan on doing one, but I could do it. I didn't make one though ahead of time. Only player I pay $40 million a year is Bonds. I mean, I would pay $40 million to a lot of different guys, probably like Mike Trout. I mean, don't even get me started on that. Steph could break the record tonight, and there'd be a lot of storylines tonight because he's playing against his brother. Yeah, I mean, that would be kind of funny if he broke the record against his brother. I mean, like I said, I don't think he's going to be. I mean, last game it was almost comical. Like he'd be shooting crazy threes that like even a robot wouldn't be able to make, and it was a little bit ridiculous, like how how many he was shooting. And I think tonight he's going to more focus on being more team player because I mean last game it was a big win, right? But could have been bigger, and it was a lot of that was because Curry wasn't really playing like a team player. And I know he's so good, so I don't want to like bash on Curry too much, but I think last game he was forcing it for sure. He was forcing the three. He was trying too hard to break the record, and I think that hurt the team a little bit. I'll look into a Kahoot. I didn't make one, but what do you think the Sharks need to do to get past this crazy I can't talk. Inconsistent. No, never mind. Pattern they have found themselves in. I don't know why I can't say that word right now. That's a really good question. I think the main issue is the fact that Aiden Hill is playing like every single game, right? And I think there's a lot of talent around Aiden Hill, but I don't think he is our best goalie. I think James Reimer's better. Another thing with the Sharks is I feel like they never start good in a game. They never start strong. Look at the Calgary game. Like that was a great win. This past week, they started out losing by 2 goals, right? And then you look at the Minnesota game, down 3-0 heading into second intermission, and they made it close. I think here's the thing. I think if the Sharks can score the first goal in every single game they play, they're going to win a lot more games than if they allow the first goal. And I think that goes without saying a little bit, but I also think that's a main issue. Another thing is we need more of. I mean, I don't think we can prevent Reimer from staying out, but I think if Reimer comes back healthy, I don't really know what's going on with him, to be honest. I think he has some sort of illness that's like causing him to not play. But I think it's Aiden Hill and it's the sloppy starts. And the sloppy starts is caused by the defense as well. Like the defense is not the best it could be. I think the first line is good. Like I like seeing Mario Ferraro out there. Eric Carlson's defense has been pretty good. Burnsy, I mean, but it's not consistent. Also, penalty minutes are been really bad for us. I'll look at the Braves, no overpaid player, and Royals. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to define what an overpaid player is. But yeah, I don't know. The Warriors are good, and that's like I said, that's the only thing I look forward to watching because it goes without saying. It's pretty self-explanatory why that's the case. Hard to watch Braves win World Series, low budget, and having horrible past years and A's make World Series. I mean, I don't see the A's and the. Here's the thing. I see the Braves up here and I see the A's down here. Like the Braves have a world-class stadium, arguably the best in baseball. I think it's probably top 5. I don't think it's the best. The Braves have money. Like they're no poor team. They were going to host the All-Star game this year. Like they're very much a prosperous team. The A's are not. The A's aren't profitable anymore. That's the problem. And so the A's, I think the A's are 29th in profit in the league. Like I bet the Braves are top 10, right? Also, Acuna is paid a ton of money. Freddie Freeman I've known he's been on good contracts. Like they're not a small market team. Atlanta's a big market. The A's just don't. The A's go like this. A's go like this. Oh, we're at the wild card. Oh, like they run out of steam. Um, yeah, Corey Seager overpaid. Yeah, I kind of agree a little bit. Came in late. Have you given a final score prediction for Chiefs Raiders tomorrow? I have not given a prediction officially, but I'll do it right now. I'm gonna say 34-17 Chiefs final. Yeah, he was paid a lot. Seager was paid a lot. Oh, you're a Guardians fan. I know that's a tough that's a mouthful to say that new name now probably. But yeah, definitely have some similarities to the A's. Like the movie Major Leagues. I know it's a fake movie, like it's not real players or anything, but like it's kind of similar to the A's a little bit. Like that, I've watched that movie a lot, the Major Leagues movie. It's one of my favorite baseball movies ever, and both of them. And it's yeah, the Indians. I mean, the Indians then now Guardians are similar to the A's in a lot of ways. Um, yeah, Dale Esguerra is a great player. Wait, no, I was thinking of someone else. Yeah, he's not very good. I was thinking of Adolis Garcia. I get those guys mixed up because it's like their names are kind of similar. Tampa Bay doesn't have good stadium and are full of prospects. Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing though. They have the Durham Bulls as their minor league team, right? The A's don't even pay their minor league players sometimes, right? That's like inhumane. They don't pay their they for like almost a year they didn't pay their minor leaguers. So obviously they're not going to get a lot of prospects. I've seen like guys on Twitter like that played for like the A's farm system and they eat like the food that the A's organization provides is like not even edible. The Rays have like the Durham Bulls who are like probably the most famous minor league team of all time. They have a movie about them. Um, Tampa's smarter than the A's. Both teams are hard to both teams are small market and it's hard for them to win, but I think the Tampa Bay Rays are smarter. Sunday night football. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I think I don't see how the Raiders can win. Um, I hope I'm rooting for the Lions at this point. For those of you that don't know, I'm a big Jared Goff fan, so I hope that the Lions can finish the season off strong. I've been a big Jared Goff fan for a long time, like 6 years now, and I've liked him for a while. So oh yeah, Raider Cody. I just feel like a lot of the Raider fans are. I made two videos about this exact topic about how Raider fans are delusional. Um, they're, I just feel like Raider fans. A lot of them are delusional. I think it's because they just game they're gonna like, oh, we're gonna win, and it's like we don't win. We haven't made the playoffs in almost 2 decades. Like, what makes you think we're gonna win now? Um, and I feel like the fan base has kind of gotten even dumber ever since the move. I feel like the move to Las Vegas has given a lot of Raider fans like a distorted view of the confidence they should have about their team. Like that's why Raiders fans always get made fun of because like they always overrate the team and the team just crashes and burns. So yeah, I don't think there's any way that the Raiders win tomorrow. I'm telling you, they're terrible. Um, Exactly. Our fan base just wants to believe that we can win, but we never can because we never can. Yeah, and if I've learned anything in life, it's like believing is doesn't mean anything if you can't actually do something. If you believe you can win, that doesn't mean anything until you sign the best quarterback in the league or until you win a Super Bowl. And the Raiders don't do that. They just cycle through the same. They have a very trial and error type process um, to playing, and it doesn't work. Usually, trial and error works with teams, but the Raiders' version of trial and error is like, oh, we lost this year. Let's just do the same thing next year, and it doesn't work. Whenever they play in Vegas, other fans of the team are always there. Yeah, it's very. I predicted it. A lot of people predicted that would happen because Vegas is not a sports town. Okay, Vegas is they. I know they have sports teams, but they're not a natural sports town like Chicago or New York or even what Oakland was pre, 2019 or so, even before that. They attract a lot of tourism. They're not in the way LA does, though. Like LA has residents and loyal fans. Las Vegas has, you know, it's just a travel destination. There's nothing else there. It's like, yeah, it's known for gambling, but it's not a place where people want to like settle down. So it's like the Raiders just don't draw there. The Raiders are like 28th in attendance. And I know that's surprising for a new stadium and a big stadium, but Raiders are 28th in attendance right now, which is, when I last checked earlier this week. Yep. Vegas ain't a real home field like we all expected. I didn't expect it personally. I did not expect it to be home field. I don't think you can ever replicate the way Oakland hosted the way Oakland was to the Raiders was like, it was like crazy. It was a mob. It was like if you wore a Denver Broncos jersey to a Raiders game, like I guarantee you would get yelled at. And I know it's like not ethical, but it's just something that the Raider fans were known for, right? Like, where's that in Las Vegas? I've seen hundreds on the broadcast of Washington football or Kansas City fans or Bronco fans, or not Broncos. Who is it? Orange team, Chicago Bears, on the broadcast. Like you can just tell that the whole stadium is attracting opposing fans. I don't really care to see a game at Allegiant Stadium, to be honest with you. I don't really have a desire to go. I mean, if I was offered the opportunity to go, or if I had free time, maybe. I just don't really see the point because it's not something I'm interested in right now. Name some of your favorite baseball and sports movies. Field of Dreams. Your favorite? Oh, those are good ones. My favorite of all time is Moneyball, for sure. I love Moneyball because it really exposes the true meaning of small market. Like you don't know small market until you watch Moneyball. That's one of my favorite both Major Leagues movies because I like the nostalgic feel to it. Miracle on Ice is one of my favorites. The Mighty Ducks. I have a Mighty Ducks jersey just because of that movie. What's the Like Mike? That's a funny one. Yeah, I like a lot of those ones. And a lot of the attendance is away fans. Exactly. That's what I was saying. Hear me out. If the Raiders were playing the Chiefs in Oakland, there'd be more Raiders fans because Chiefs fans would not fly all the way there. Vegas is so fun and stay there 1 week. Yeah, and also, Vegas is like, I know it's only one state away from California, but it is significantly closer to these neighboring states like Colorado and Arizona. And, like California is kind of isolated on the coast. And then you have the inland Nevada. But I just, to your point, like I used to go to, I didn't go to Raider games as frequently as I did A's games because for one, the tickets were a lot more expensive than the A's tickets, even when the Raiders were bad, which is pretty much every year. And for two, they only played once a week, only 8 home games a year. Unless you're a season ticket holder, I can't go to that many. So yeah, but I could definitely tell that like every game in and game out, there would be hardly any opposing fans. And I would literally see people get in fights. I would see I'd go to a Raiders versus LA Rams game or St. Louis Rams game at the time. And they would just get hassled. And that's the way Oakland was. How about Russell Wilson? What do you think the chances he's in a Raiders uniform next year, considering things out in Seattle? Here's the thing. I think the chances of him playing in Seattle next year aren't very high because the Seahawks suck. And second of all, I think I've heard a lot of rumors. I don't think those come out of nowhere. Now, the chances of him playing for the Raiders, I don't think that they're very high. I don't know if the Raiders see a point in really going for a contender quarterback, like a established veteran. I don't know. I just don't really see that. They could, kind of do what the Buccaneers did and kind of center a team around a really good established quarterback, but I don't see it very high, to be honest with you. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting offseason, especially if the Raiders miss the playoffs, which is looking like they are. I couldn't believe how much money Billy Beane turned down from the Red Sox to stay with the A's when I watched Moneyball. Exactly. And I believe he did the same with the Mets. And it all goes back to the fact that the A's, he knows there's something special with the A's organization. Like there's no denying you can make fun of the A's however you want, but you gotta respect the fact that the A's they keep going. They don't quit. With the money they're given. They Billy Bean in particular, he built a system that is is game changing, is league changing, is sports changing, really. Um, and I'll always appreciate that. I love 90% of Moneyball. However, the character assassination they did of Coach. Yeah, I heard controversy about that. Um, I think they probably just did that to dramatize the movie a little bit, but I heard an interview with Art Howe. Um, I did some research on it, and I know that he was not too happy with the fact that they portrayed him as kind of like selfish, but it kind of just went to show that the A's before Moneyball was a thing didn't have priorities straight with their players and coaches. A Raiders thing to do would be to go out and beat the Chiefs or Browns and build hype and then lose to the Broncos, Colts, and Chargers. Probably. Same thing happened last year. Same thing happened the year before. Um, yeah, I wouldn't question that at all. And you're probably right. A's fans are thinking that the A's trade Olsen to the Padres for Grisham and one prospect. Geez, I hope not. I'm hearing all these rumors, like the Yankees one with Voit. I'm hearing the Braves for Freddie Freeman. It's like we want Olsen. We don't want anyone else. And unfortunately, that you're probably right. They're probably going to make a stupid trade like that. I know Grisham's a good player, but it's hard to be better than Olsen, especially at that level of consistency he's had last year, hitting homers and getting on base and RBIs and whatnot. But I really hope he can stick around as long as possible. But I know it's hard when you're an A's player because you're not offered a justifiable amount of money to stay with the team, and that's the reason why we've lost so many players over the course of decades now. That's what Moneyball's all about. Yep. But yeah, we'll see. Padres still have Hosmer. I believe they do. I don't know how much longer he has there. I know he's been on them for a number of years. Yeah, I don't know. I do. They do have Hosmer though. I'm pretty sure. Um, so yeah. Any updates on Seabass? The A's better not let him get away. I've heard trade rumors with Bassett. I hope they don't trade him. I know he's up there in age, but he's a great pitcher, and it's unfortunate he had that the ball to the temple or whatever because he was so good last year. Like he was in my eyes, a Cy Young candidate. Even though the A's are never considered for big awards like that because of the market, but yeah, Olsen can play right field. Can he? I don't know if he can. I've never heard of him being able to do that, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, Seabass and Olsen have been the big topic of conversation. Like, I don't know what to believe anymore because I'm here. Like, sometimes I'll hear like, "Oh, Olsen trade to Yankees will be finalized this week," and then it never happens, right? So, I think the A's are probably trying. Like, the A's is in like Billy Bean and David Force and whatnot are probably trying to keep these guys, but at the end of the day, when Fisher is decreasing the payroll every year, like if you guys didn't know, there's rumors that the payroll for 2022 is going to be $50 million, 50. And to put that in perspective, the Dodgers had a $300 million payroll this past season. And obviously they had Trey Turner and Max Scherzer. And I think if the A's, reduce it to 50 million, there's no way they win more than like 60 games. I'm sorry, like there's no way with 50 million you can put a good team together. It's poverty in the baseball world. Pinder is one of those. The last of the old crew. Hope he takes more of a leadership role. I like Pinder. I think he's inconsistent. He's an injury liability a little bit, but yeah, he is part of that that team from kind of the mid 2010s that was somehow kind of good at some points. But I think he's a good player. I like the guy. He kind of is the last one, right? Yeah, because Canna got traded, or Canna signed. Correct. I stand corrected. Canna got signed with the Mets, and he was part of that. Simeon was part of that. Mania, I'd say Mania was part of that as well. Um, yeah, but yeah, I like Pinder. I think if he, can be more consistent, then the A's are going to have lot of production out of him because he's good when he's not hurt. He's consistent on a regular basis. Yeah, I just don't know who's going to step up for the A's next year if they don't make any signings. I mean, who have they really signed so far besides that guy from Tampa? Um, I got the Browns over the Raiders next week. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I don't. I know the Browns are not as good as they were, and they've had a lot of injuries. We maybe will beat them, like Ravens 17, Browns 10. Yeah, it could happen. Oh, yeah. So I've heard the NFL is considering a few more cities for expansion. One of those cities is Sacramento. Could you elaborate a little on that? Yeah. So basically, for about 6 months now, like there's been talk, like more serious talks about expansion in the NFL. There's always been talks about expansion, like the Jaguar or like London, right? Having a team like instead of the Jaguars moving there. Sacramento is interesting because it's far enough away from Santa Clara where the 49ers play that I think it would do really well. Sacramento is like one of my favorite places in California because it's like the fans there are like really loyal to the Kings. Like the Kings are terrible. They're like the Raiders. They miss the playoffs every year. And I think Sacramento could work. Now the question is, does Sacramento want a team? I don't know. I know they're definitely an NFL viable city. The Raiders wanted to move to Sacramento in the 90s. Um, if it's not Sacramento, maybe it's Oakland for expansion. I just don't know at this point. I know that they've talked about eventually expanding to 40 teams, but with the St. Louis lawsuit being dismissed, I don't know if expansion is something on the horizon. Because for those of you that don't know, St. Louis was like this close to getting expansion like a couple weeks ago. So I think the NFL probably saw that as an opportunity to talk about expansion in a much broad level, right? Like they there was an Instagram post. It was like the NFL wants to eventually expand to 40 teams. Now, I think Sacramento would be great. I would be a fan of the Sacramento team. I would drop the Raiders. I'm sorry if you guys are wondering about that because I don't being a Raider fan for me right now is not very enjoyable, and that's not because the team isn't good. Like I don't believe in switching your team if they're not good. Like I feel like that's fair weather. But I also think like if your team moves away and you get a replacement team, like you have all right to like close by. Like you have all power to you to switch. Like when the Baltimore Colts moved to Indianapolis and then the Ravens came, like I doubt there were people that were like, "Oh, I got to stay loyal to the Colts. I'm not going to be a Ravens fan." It's the same thing if, NorCal gets a team. I will probably devote my allegiance to that new team. So, oh yeah, Raiders versus Browns is on Saturday. It's on a yeah. I think it's a week from today, right? Yeah, yeah. But I think the problem now is like you know expand back to expansion for a sec. Like St. Louis probably isn't going to get expansion now because the lawsuit. I mean, I just don't know when expansion will happen, but it does make money, so we'll see. On Greg Papa's show, callers said the Warriors are close to trading for Pacers Miles Turner. Oh yeah, this is definitely being talked about. They think he would be final piece to get us a championship with or without Clay. Oh, 100%. The Warriors' biggest problem is the size, right? Like, and I think I kind of am a believer in like if it's not broken, don't fix it. Like the Warriors are winning games right now, but in the games they're losing because of a size advantage usually, right? Look at the Spurs game last week. Jakob Pertl was going crazy, and he was like way bigger than the guys defending him. The Suns game we lost to the first one, not the second one. DeAndre Ayton was crazy. He's huge, right? Um, Jonas Valanciunas in the Memphis game a couple months back. Like we're getting outmatched with size. And I think Miles Turner is very talented. The Pacers are rebuilding. They've publicly stated they're rebuilding. Now the only thing is, if we traded for Turner, I think we'd probably want to trade draft picks. I don't want to. There's no one on the team like I would really want to trade, to be quite honest. Yeah, I don't know though. That's the thing. I don't know who we'd trade, but I would want Miles Turner. I think he is a championship caliber center. Um, Switching to Sacramento team would make sense for you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like Sacramento is just like a really loyal city, right? They have an NBA team that was on the verge of moving. Like a lot of you like probably know, the Kings were gonna move to either Seattle or Anaheim in the early 2000s or 2010s. It was pretty much a done deal, and the city rallied behind the team. The mayor, Kevin Johnson, he was like, "Nope, Kings aren't moving. We got to get our acts together as the legislation, and we have to keep the team." And long story short, the Kings stayed there because of the fan support, and I think the same could go for an NFL team with a world-class stadium. The Raiders will always be my team. I mean, for me, I think for me, it's like, am I loyal to the team or am I loyal to, the city? And right now, I'm more loyal to the team than the city with the Raiders because I stuck with them. Um, I just hate the fact that the Raiders do dumb stuff every year. They do dumb stuff every single year. They're always the butt of the joke. I mean, look at all the stuff that's happened. This year is crazy. First, you have John Gruden. Then you have Henry Ruggs, Damon Arnett. You have all of these guys just doing bad things, and it's like, yeah, I don't really appreciate it. They trade Wiseman guaranteed if they got Miles Turner. Yeah, probably. If that did happen, they would probably wait till Wiseman's healthy because I don't think the Pacers would want to trade for an injured Wiseman. Um, I see you, Canna. Yeah. But yeah, Miles Turner is very good though, and he's young. I think he's 25. I think he was drafted in 2016. I could be wrong on that, or 2015. I know he's talented though. He's got a lot of size. He's a lot of agility. He's very, very talented, and I think that's something the Warriors need that they don't have right now. I think Wiseman's very good when he is given the opportunity to be good, but I don't think Wiseman is a guy that we can count on. All right, I think the fact that been on for about 40, almost 45 minutes, I think I'm probably going to wrap this up pretty soon. If you guys have any final thoughts or questions or comments or whatever, let me know in in the next 2 minutes because I think I'm going to call it pretty soon. Just so don't go too long with this. So I think at 1:45, I'll probably end it. So if you guys have any extra comments or questions or whatever, let me know. But yeah, for those of you that don't know, Sharks and Warriors are playing tonight. Sharks are playing. Who are they playing? They're playing the Dallas Stars. So we're going to see Joe Pavelski return to San Jose once again. And the Warriors are playing the Sixers tonight. Devin Booker missed another game for Phoenix. Will he be ready for the Warriors game on Christmas? I don't know. I don't know how serious the injury is. He didn't look too bad when the injury happened, but I know he's been out a number of games now. And that's a big problem for Phoenix if he's out. He's he's clear cut their best player. But he's also not someone I totally worry about because I feel like the Warriors are really good at perimeter defense. Wiggins is the best perimeter defender in the league. That's my opinion. It's the interior defense that hurts the Warriors, like DeAndre Ayton. So, when I talked about the Suns Warriors game, the first one, I was worried about DeAndre Ayton. I wasn't worried about Devin Booker at all because he's a perimeter shooter. He's like Curry. Only Curry, I think, is a lot more crafty. Warriors 111, 76ers 102. Yeah, that definitely could happen. I think the Warriors are going to win. That's all I know. I think they're going to win probably by double digits or close to double digits. What's up, Makar? Probably, I'll end at 150. Just so because there's some more people coming in, but I think I'll end at 150. If you guys have any questions or whatever, Thanks for the updates in your channel. You know your stuff. Appreciate it. I know, Kenneth, you know your stuff about the Sharks for sure. So appreciate you coming in here and asking some good questions. And yeah, thank you. But yeah, I think the last time the Warriors played the Sixers, it was like pretty easy. But I think Embiid is back, so we'll see. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think the Warriors have a good shot. I think I have the Warriors as championship or bust right now, and I know it's early, but I seriously think the uh, the Warriors, it's championship or bust. Really, I think this is our year. Not last year, not next year. This year is our year. Last year was a lot of up and downs, and I think the Warriors have fixed a lot of the ups and downs from last season, and a lot of it was the defense, and a lot of it was 3-point shooting only coming from Curry last year. Now it's like Wiggins is great at shooting threes. Nemanja Bjelica, love that guy. Nemanja Bjelica, I watched him when he was in Sacramento. He's incredible at shooting the three ball. The um, who else? Like Jordan Poole, Gary Payton. Like these are really talented players. I hope Steph breaks the record tonight. I do too. I really do too. My only thing is I hope it doesn't come at the expense of the team. Right? I don't hope. I hope he doesn't just shoot threes like he was last game, and the Warriors like barely beat the Trailblazers. Right? Like I want him to break the record, but like why does he have to break it tonight? He has like 60 games to break it. We're gonna be fine. If anything, it'd be better if he broke it at home, but that's probably not going to happen now. The Raiders are 8-9 or bust. Yeah, probably will be. I think we will win the title, but it's still early. I think you're 100% right. I think as long as the team stays healthy, that's the biggest issue. Warriors have had a lot of injury problems the past 3 years, right? Like look at last year. No Klay Thompson the whole year. He got injured prior to the season. Year before that, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson, both injured in the finals. And then a year after that, Curry broke his hand, right? So those are our best players, all injured, right? Last year was a hard season because it almost felt last year like the Warriors were rebuilding. It almost did. The acquisition of Kelly Oubre last year was weird, in my opinion. It felt like kind of like a D'Angelo Russell type thing where they needed another guard to complement Curry. But I think Wiggins is the best we're going to get out of a guy like that. Wiggins is a really good complementary guard. It's clear that he has chemistry with the guys, and he's a great passer. He's a great scorer, and he's a great defender. That's all I can say. So yeah, I think if the Warriors stay healthy, they're champion. They're the winners of the finals, no doubt. I mean, we'll see. We'll see though. I think Phoenix is our biggest threat, and on the Eastern side, I think Milwaukee is probably our biggest threat if we do make it to the finals. Who do you think the toughest matchup is in the West for the Warriors? I think Utah. In the East, I would think Brooklyn. Unless Brooklyn Lopez. If you asked me that question a week and a half ago, I would have said the Phoenix Suns. And then the whole Devin Booker thing happened, and Curry had a bad game against them. So I'm not going to say Phoenix. I agree with you. I think it's Utah right now. Utah in the West. In the East, it's Milwaukee. Milwaukee's a very good team. Not going to trash talk them at all. They beat us by like 40 points last year. Obviously, that's last year, so I'm not going to really use that as a clear indication. But I do think that it's Utah right now. Utah's a good team. We fleeced the Timberwolves. Looking back at the trade, oh my god, 100%. It was. I watched a video about that trade like last night because I just wanted to relive it. It was Amari Spellman, Jacob Evans, and D'Angelo Russell to Minnesota for a 2021 top 3 protected pick and Andrew Wiggins. Okay, let's just go through one by one real quick. Jacob Evans, I met Jacob Evans. He's a nice guy. Like I met him when he was in the G League. Terrible player though. Like I'm sorry, he was not a good player. Amari Spellman, good player. Like he was consistent, but he wasn't a good fit for us. D'Angelo Russell, same thing as Spellman. Good player, wasn't a good fit. Look at the other side of things. Wiggins, he was considered a draft bust, right? Like he was first overall in the draft. He had been on 2 teams at that point, Cleveland and Minnesota. I didn't know how good he was going to be. And then a top 3 protected pick, I was like, hell yeah. We got Jonathan Kuminga out of that. So yeah, we definitely did fleece them. But yeah, like with hindsight, like that was a great trade. Um, yeah. All right. I think I think I'm gonna call it right here. Like if unless you have something important to say in like the next like a minute, I think we're hitting the 50-minute mark. So um it's definitely glad to do this and hear what everyone has to say because a lot of stuff has happened in terms of the four major sports in the past month or so. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it right here, guys. Make sure to leave a like if you want to, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out.